Moving on, South Korea's parliament on Thursday formally introduced a motion to impeach President Yoon Suk-yeol, setting the stage for a historic vote which could oust him following the failure of a short-lived attempt to declare martial law. Yoon's declaration of martial law late on Tuesday attempted to ban political activity, censor media in South Korea. The shock move divided Yoon's ministers and unleashed about 6 hours of political chaos. The impeachment motion against Yoon was reported to a plenary session that opened shortly after midnight in the early hours of Thursday morning. Following the introduction of the motion, a vote on impeachment must be held within about 24 to 72 hours. Meanwhile, South Korean prosecutors have opened an investigation into President Yoon, his interior minister and now former defense minister, over their roles in an attempt to impose emergency. Kim Yong-hyun, who resigned as South Korean defense minister over his involvement in martial law order, also faces travel ban as prosecutors investigate. The other two do not face such bans. Meanwhile, demonstrators called for South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment outside the parliament building. Yoon's declaration of martial law has sparked outrage in the streets and concerns among international allies. And my colleague Amit Mukherjee now joins me with more updates on how this crisis will unfold in South Korea. Amit, if you could take us through the manner in which this impeachment process is likely to play out, and given that the opposition has about two-thirds majority in the assembly, in the National Assembly of South Korea, is the outcome on expected lines?
Yes, that's right, Shubhendu. In fact, if you look at the structure of the South Korean parliament, it has about 300 seats. And yes, of course, you need about two-thirds of majority to impeach the president. Now, the thing is that the opposition has about 192 seats out there. So, which means that, of course, the current incumbent government headed by President Yoon is in the majority. So, they would need about 8, supporters, 8 MPs that would be supporting the opposition. The opposition needs the support of about 8 MPs to reach that 200 mark, for which, you can actually impeach the president. So, at this point in time, even his own party people are distancing themselves from him. And in fact, 5 of the MPs as of now, they are pretty unsure as to whether to vote in favor of President Yoon or to vote against him, which means in favor of the impeachment process. They are not very sure, which makes the issues more and more complicated for the president. So the impeachment process has been moved. It will be up for discussion for the next tomorrow, of course, Friday, and late night it is expected that the voting actually happens, on Saturday late night. So it is then they're going to finally take a call after deliberations, discussions. Of course, the president will also get to put in his point of view as to what really happened, for which he had to impose the martial law. Of course, it is being questioned right now. The police is investigating it. The military chief also has said that they are not responsible. The defense minister has resigned. So things are not going very well for him. And also his own party, People Power Party chief, he has asked Yoon to step down, to move out of the party, even if they are not in favor of impeaching him. Even if they don't support the impeachment motion. Right. They want the president to be out of the party as of now.
Right. Amit, I was just speaking to Ambassador Mohan Kumar discussing the French crisis. It's really uncanny. Maybe there's no direct connection, but Germany, France, South Korea, leading democracies facing difficult weather. Now, what do these developments, the martial law, the impeachment against the president, mean for South Korean democracy and nation?
Well, the very fact that martial law has been was implemented, even if it was for 6 hours, that itself, it strikes the basis of a democratic setup, because, under these kind of martial laws, all the fundamental rights, which we refer to as in India, they get suspended. If you look at, the press freedom gets seized. The press is not allowed to operate as freely as it should. Of course, public gatherings are prohibited. Even the parliament is sort of sealed. They are not supposed to operate the parliament. No process is expected to go on in parliament. So all these things definitely, it's not very good for the democratic process. So if you look at the whole structure, similar thing is happening in France as well, because the entire government is fallen down. So the entire process is quite shaky right now. Subhendu?
Right there. Amit, thanks very much for joining us with those updates.